swashbuckling. Some of this is surely just the fact that I was playing the remake for the first time and learning as I went, but here's hoping this iteration of Black Flag is a bit more challenging than the original, where I rarely found myself in any real peril. Though this remaster draws on many of Assassin's Creed's more recent entries, it steers clear from the RPG elements found in Valhalla and Shadows, instead sticking to its action-adventure roots like Mirage, and crucially, the original Black Flag. There are still some stats on weapons that can be purchased in shops and some RPG-like upgrades here and there, but Resynced focuses much more on being a competent action game than an RPG, so you won't find yourself stealth assassinating someone and not doing enough DPS to take them out in one strike. I actually enjoy both the more RPG-style Assassin's Creed games and the less chunky action games that the series found its roots in. But if I'm being honest, this one just feels like it's much better suited as a pure action game. After all, I'm a bloody pirate for God's sake. I'm meant to be showing these nautical narcs the business end of a flintlock, not running the numbers on my armor set or doing math on my critical hit chances. Yar, I say. Yar! Some of the streamlining of Black Flag to Resync's action has led to some peculiar choices though, like how you can no longer pick up weapons of slain foes to use in combat. In the original, if you downed a big guy who was wielding a two-handed axe, you could then pick it up and use it to mop up the rest of the scallywags in your path. For whatever reason, that was removed in the demo I played though, possibly to simplify things and keep the action moving along without having to clumsily retrieve a weapon from the ground in the heat of battle. I can certainly see the logic in that choice, but honestly, I kind of missed being able to have that kind of freedom, and it felt to me like one of those wholly unnecessary changes that could have just as well been left as it was. Then again, this feature hasn't been a part of the series in quite some time now, so maybe it's just one of these things that no longer fits in with the Anvil engine. While reliving my time with Black Flag was largely awesome, one surprising revelation is that the entirety of the present-day storyline has been removed from this version. As someone who misses when the Assassin's Creed series actually tried to tell a story within its sci-fi world, it's a bit of a bummer to see them follow in Assassin's Creed Shadows' footsteps of giving up on that aspect of the series entirely. It's especially odd if, like me, you have the twist ending at the end of the original Black Flag burned into your memory. I'm honestly very curious how this remake will be able to cut around that aspect of the story entirely, and worry the story might feel a bit awkward in doing so. That said, the historical story and pirate gameplay is quite obviously Black Flag's strength, so maybe it won't be any big loss not having it around, even if it does feel a bit strange. Perhaps as a way of making up for the lack of a present-day story, Resynced interestingly adds content to Kenway's story that wasn't in the original, some of which I played. This includes whole story sections that focus on Blackbeard and Stead Bonnet, who were only briefly involved in the original version of Black Flag, if memory serves. There are also new party members you can recruit to join your pirate crew, complete with quests to indoctrinate them into your privateering operations. One such quest involved breaking a shipwright out of jail and persuading her to join my team by agreeing to help her with a personal matter down the road. Her name is Lucy, and she's pretty much a complete badass. I think she'll fit in with Kenway and company just fine. After a handful of hours playing this remake of one of the best Assassin's Creed games, I'm pretty sold on replaying through it in its entirety when it comes out later this year. What do you think? Will you give Black Flag a return trip? Let us know in the comments. For more, check out our recent previews of 007 First Light and Mina the Hollower. And for everything else, keep plundering the goods with IGN.
Hello everyone, Chris Cross here, Design Director at Cold Iron Studios. We're excited today to showcase and talk about the new Specialist class, a brand new class we're introducing for Aliens Fireteam Elite 2 releasing this summer. Here with me are Derek, Brock, and MJ from our development team.
Hi, I'm Derek Wade, Lead Combat Designer.
I'm Brock Robin, and I'm the Lead Systems Designer.
Hey there, I'm MJ, QA Tester at Cold Iron.
The Specialist is the pinnacle of where you can take your builds in AFE2. This is about pushing the end game and kitting out the ultimate soldier so you can clear the highest difficulties and defeat any challenge the game throws at you. Brock, can you tell us a little bit about the Specialist gameplay loop?
So to build out your Specialist, you need to level up your other classes first. Playing as a Specialist increases your Specialist rank, which unlocks unique perks and items and gives you more room to tinker on the perk. However, most of the real juicy stuff like abilities and replacers need to be unlocked on your other classes first. Once I start unlocking abilities on my duelist, I can bring those over to my specialist to customize with. For example, I've got a level 10 medic. Everything I can do on my medic, I can bring that over to my specialist and combine it with everything else I've unlocked on the other classes too.
If you've got all your classes leveled up, there's an embarrassment of riches to work with. What kind of specialists have you guys come up with?
I wanted to make something that was all about sending rounds downrange, so I kitted out something I call the Gunfighter. I combined abilities that have me spraying tons of lead, so I started with the burst configuration from the Duelist, the ability that gives you this huge experimental gun that's normally exclusive only to that class. And then for my secondary ability, I'm using the Bodyguard turret from the Machinist. That gives me a turret that flies around and is always doing damage to enemies. And then I rounded those two out with the Deadeye passive, so as long as I'm hitting anything, I'm getting increased stopping power and lower recoil. And of course, for my weapons, I went with the revolver rifle as my primary and the Frontier revolver as my sidearm, because this build is the ultimate Xeno hunting cowboy.
Nice. Your gunfighter specialist sounds awesome. What did you cook up, MJ?
Check this out. I came up with something I'm calling the Paladin. I wanted to build the aliens version of the fantasy where I'm tanky and have a huge weapon, but I can also defend my team and heal them. I'm using the blast cannon ability, which gives me tons of crowd control, and I modded it to buff me with extra damage and defense. Then, for team support, I went with the medic's trauma station for heals and the guardian passive, so whenever I shoot something that's attacking my ally gets healed. And then, of course, I wanted something that feels like a giant sword, so I went with the classic smart gun.
Wow, your paladin is super cool. I love how you leaned into that paladin trope. What about you, Brock? What's your specialist like?
I wanted to go big and loud, so I customized a Grenadier specialist. If there was a chance to use an explosive, I took it. Naturally, I'm using Titan rockets from the Marauder class as my primary. Enough said. Then I got the cluster grenade launcher from the Duelist as my secondary to really saturate an area. I'm supporting all that with the Gunslinger passive. Whenever I kill enemies with my abilities, it lowers my cooldowns. For my guns, I'm bringing the classic M41A pulse rifle from the Aliens film, because hell yeah. And this time it has the underbarrel grenade launcher that we've always wanted. Obviously, for my second gun, I'm bringing a damn rocket launcher. To quote Private Hudson, I'm the ultimate badass.
Wow. Hope you're not going to go too crazy if we've got friendly fire turned on. What about you, though, Chris? You're the game director. You better have made something crazy.
I got you covered. I made my specialist into what I named the Elementalist. Damage types are a big part of AFE 2, so I leaned into making sure I'm always ready to counter any threat. Basically, everything my Elementalist does is about covering a different damage type. I took the base particle beam from the Hunter and turned that into a cryo pulse, so I've got cryo damage. I took the combat stems from Medic, which heals teammates and reduces cooldowns, but with mods, anytime I use that ability, I release a blast of electric damage too. I'm using the dual targeting passive, so I do extra damage to enemies when they're hit by my abilities, and I modded it even more so they become vulnerable to electricity. For my primary guns, I'm rolling with a flamethrower, and for my secondary, I'm using the new railgun, which gives me piercing damage so I can counter any armored mini-bosses. I'm using AFE 2's new sidearm system to customize my backup too. I took the standard M4 pistol, but used the new augment slot to give it incendiary bullets. But enough talking about it. How about we take a look at these incredible specialists in action? We can't wait for players to get their hands on this new specialist class. And we're all really looking forward to seeing all of the amazing builds you're going to come up with. AFE 2 is coming this summer, so you won't have to wait too long. Be sure to add it to your wish list, and we'll see you in game.
son has returned. Hey, what's happening, fam? It is OGTC, the original God of War. How y'all doing today? I'm so glad you're hanging out, and I want you to know, as we close out this last few months of the God of War's 20th anniversary, I'm thrilled to bring you some exciting news about the series today. Now look, we are happy and excited to finally confirm that, the Greek trilogy remake is now in development. Yeah, man. I know. Sit down. Now, look, this project is still in the early stages, so it'll be a minute before we get back to share another update, right? But I'm telling you, next time we come back, we coming with something big, baby. Yeah. So, closing, I want to say thank you. Thank you all for your patience. You've been waiting. So thank you for your patience. But most of all, I want to thank you all for supporting this God of War franchise all these years. Appreciate you. Peace.
PlayStation.
We are not ready. We could all die tonight. We don't even get a choice.
I'm Ryan McCaffrey with IGN, and I am joined by my friend Mark Medina. Mark, you made the trek down to Infinity Ward in Los Angeles in secret in the dead of night.
Yeah.
With your night vision goggles on.
Yeah.
To go check out Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4. It is the new one this year. It's just been unveiled. It is out on October 23rd. And you got yourself some multiplayer hands-on. Yep. Did you not?
I did. I played probably like 2 hours of multiplayer just across the various modes, against just other media personalities and creators and stuff like that. It was a good time.
So you came back, and your preview article on IGN is headlined, Modern Warfare 4 feels like the first truly next-gen Call of Duty.
Yeah.
You kind of came away with 9 points, like 9 key differences, 9 key changes. But can you kind of explain what you mean when you say feels like the first truly next-gen Call of Duty?
Yeah, Call of Duty has, Call of Duty's always kind of known to push graphical fidelity and all that kind of good stuff. But no matter how good something looks on PS5, right, it still has to serve the Xbox One and PlayStation 4, right? So even up to Black Ops 7, that has to be able to run on the 2013 PS4 and VCR Xbox One. And so it's one of those things where it's like when you play it, you're like, oh, this looks great. This looks so good. And then you jump into Modern Warfare for the first time and you're like, oh, never mind. No, Black Ops 7 looked not that great. Never mind. This is what looks good. And it's like, it's immediately apparent that they are not having to cater to those older consoles anymore.
Yeah, 5 years into the generation, almost 6. Yeah. Actually, I guess by the time the game comes out, it is 6 years into the generation.
Yeah.
So that is good news that they're finally leaving last gen behind. And it's great that you can see it on the screen immediately. Yeah. That is awesome. Yeah. So
what's weird, real quick, sorry, what's weird about that is the fact that we're already having next gen conversations. And this is the first truly current gen Call of Duty, but that has nothing to do with the preview.
It's true. You are correct.
This is that's a whole separate console watch topic.
So you came away with 9 key changes, and I wanted to have you talk through them all for us here. Let's start with, you mentioned movement. So what's the deal with movement in Modern Warfare 4 multiplayer?
Yeah, so the big thing people are going to notice with this game, especially since there hasn't been a Modern Warfare in a while, is that there is no more omni movement. What that means is you can no longer sprint left and right and backwards. There's no wall jumping. There's nothing like that, right? It is a more grounded kind of boots on the ground. The tagline they keep using is that it's like an action movie, but still set in realism, right? Like everything is theoretically possible, but it's set in a world where you never get tired and you can surfaces are never slippery. So yeah, but they've made a lot of changes to movement because of this, right? So no omni movement, but there's mantling in different ways than there used to be. So before you would mantle onto a ledge or something like that, and your character would just climb up, and there was nothing you can do about it. They've changed it in a few ways now. One is you can cancel a mantle now. So if you're mantling up and you happen to peek over and you see somebody, you can be like, nope, don't want to do that, and you can mantle out. Another thing you can do is just do a simple ledge grab, which is you go halfway through a mantle and then you're just holding onto the ledge and you can actually aim your gun over the
cool
cover and shoot people while still kind of peeking behind the cover. And then the third thing is that you can shimmy now. So they're calling it a ledge shimmy. So if you're on a ledge, you can now move left and right and reposition yourself, get yourself still in cover, but still be able to do shots. Alongside the mantling is they have a backward slide, so you can do a backward slide that allows you to still shoot your gun. Not totally new, but I think this is the first time you can do it backwards. You can also slide into a ladder, like a ladder climb. So if you're on a roof and there's a ladder, you can slide and your character will automatically spin and grab onto the ladder and you can start going down. That's pretty cool. And then the last like major big thing is that you can climb up poles and stuff now. So if you see an apartment building and you see a pole, you can actually climb up that pole and then almost like Assassin's Creed style vault over to a window and then climb through the window. So they've added that. And then one more thing is that there's tactical sprint still, which is when you double tap the sprint and you throw your gun up and you start running super fast. It's now more telegraphed that your character will start to like breathe harder and the gun will start to lower. So they've made a lot of changes to movement while still kind of keeping it grounded.
It's interesting that Black Ops and Modern Warfare are really starting to diverge now in the way that just even on character movement, which is good. It makes them feel like legitimately or more like legitimately different games.
Yeah.
For gunplay, you mentioned no more bloom.
Yeah. Before I go into that, I gotta remind people what bloom is, because it may not be a term that people are super familiar with. Bloom is essentially a hidden mechanic in video games where, let's say you have a circle, and those are the possible points that your bullet can go. The game essentially rolls a dice in the background as you're hip firing, and the bullets just kind of go anywhere within that point. I think it was really, really cool in like Modern Warfare 1 days, like Xbox 360 days. I think it's completely archaic now to add like that sort of a random element, especially when games like Counter-Strike, people have been going back and playing Counter-Strike, and something a lot of people do right at the beginning of a Counter-Strike match is they run to a wall and they shoot to see the bullet pattern of their gun. Call of Duty is now adopting that system where there's no more bloom. Your bullets go where your gun is aiming.
Okay.
And that does mean they're still going to be spread because bullets, guns kick when they fire. And so there is still going to be spread, but it doesn't feel like it's completely just a luck of the dice if you win a close quarters combat. Now you actually kind of understand where your bullets should be going. And they've worked hard on this to make sure it's like the sniper rifle is not the best shotgun in the world anymore.
Yeah.
Because they said when they first started, basically people were hip firing snipers, across, shooting sniper rifles from across the map and just hitting shots because it's like, well, if the sniper rifle's pointing forward and there's no bloom, it's going to just hit people. And so they've added, kind of gun sway and stuff like that. So it just, bloom is gone, but that feeling of kind of randomness could still feel there, but there's like an honest answer for it now, I guess is the best way to put it.
Nice. Okay. So next you mentioned that weapons feel like they belong in the world now. What do you mean by that?
Yeah. So normally when you play any shooter, to be honest with you, right, your gun is just in front of your character, and if you run up to a wall, what happens, right? It's essentially like the tip of your gun is more or less just stopping your movement, right? So now when you run up to a wall, your gun will actually kind of be pushed more up against your body,
Okay,
right?
I see.
When you are peeking around cover, your gun, it's this like action movie thing, right? Where people naturally think that your gun should be the first thing that enters a door. And that's actually like completely not true, because that's the best way to get disarmed in something like an action sequence. And so Call of Duty's kind of taking that, right? Where now if you're peeking, your gun will still be kind of hidden. It's kind of your eye is the first thing through the door. And so there's just a lot more, you'll notice it like when you're playing it, you'll see that your gun just moves it moves a lot more than it used to.
Yeah.
But that's realism, right? That's how guns actually work. Nobody's just holding their gun out, right? They're constantly moving it. They're constantly pushing it up against their body. And so kind of how you see in like Uncharted and the new just released 007 First Light, where when he walks through a doorway, he'll kind of like put his hand there. And it's kind of like these reactions to the environment. That's what you're seeing now with the guns in Call of Duty, is it's fully aware that you're up against a wall and it's reacting to that naturally.
Nice. This next one, I guess we kind of touched on this at the top, but you say dropping last gen was clearly the right call.
Yeah. So not only graphically, but they're doing a thing now where the map you're entering is not the map you're leaving. And what I mean by that is not only does it look pretty, but all maps have decorations. And now these decorations can be shot off the table and stuff like that, right? So if you see like a dish set and you go in there and you shoot it all up, that dish set's just going to stay on the ground all shot up.
Yeah.
Bullet holes are going to stay in the walls. And these are normally things that either A, couldn't be interacted with before, or the game would quickly despawn to save that memory for the actual gameplay. And now you're entering a map that looks pristine and you're leaving a map that looks super messed up, right? Because that's all just staying on the map. And they said that that's basically not possible with the memory limitations of PS4 and Xbox One, but the PS5, PC, and Xbox Series X and S allows for those decorations and just visual aesthetics to persist throughout a whole round without the need to despawn them for other things.
Cool. That's good stuff. All right. Apex attachments, you say, are where things get a little wild.
Yeah. So every gun in every Call of Duty has its own leveling up system. And as you level a gun up, you'll eventually unlock new attachments and stuff like that. In this game, you can do 5 attachments. But when you get to the end, it's like, normally it's like, okay, you got the best scope. Or usually in the case of Call of Duty, it's you got this really cool, like tiger glimming skin, stuff like that, right? In this one, you're getting Apex attachments. They are separate from your normal gunsmith loadout. And they get added and they change fundamental things about your gun. So some examples are having a pistol that when you go into the Apex mode, all of a sudden becomes a hammer fire pistol that as quick as you can pull the trigger is as quick as the pistol can shoot. Another really cool one was it's a shotgun that they added a strobe light to. So now you're basically walking around with a flashbang in your eyes. So now people are getting blinded when they walk into a room and then they're getting shotgunned. Other ones is like, adding underbarrel shotguns or grenade launchers. One really, really cool one was taking a submachine and adding throwing knives to it. So the character will kind of move it over and then be throwing knives. So it's that just kind of cool stuff where you're like, okay, I have used this gun a lot, and now I'm actually getting some sort of like actual fundamental kind of special bonus for staying dedicated to that gun. And I mentioned in the preview as well that those attachments will stay after somebody's been killed, right? So if you have a really cool Apex gun, there's a good chance you'll eventually fall victim to that because somebody else will pick it up and use it, and then vice versa.
While we're on the subject of guns, talk about Gunny, which you say is basically Gunsmith, but without the headache.
Yeah. So Gunny is my favorite thing that they've added to this year's Call of Duty, which is you want to try a new gun or you've been leveling up a gun and you're going through the gunsmith and you're like, okay, this has this kind of sight, but does this kind of sight match up with the actual caliber of bullets that I'm, using or the buck of the gun, all these different things. You're like, am I building a good gun or am I building a monstrosity? The pro Call of Duty people are aware, but me, I'm over here on YouTube being like, how do I like make something actually where it's not like a Frankenstein's monster of a gun? And so what Gunny does is now when you go to the gunsmith, it'll say like run and gun, you know, close range, long range, balanced, and you just select it and it goes, okay, this is the gun you want to use. Here are the attachments for that play style that you've selected. So then from there, you could be like, okay, but I don't like that scope. So I'm going to change the scope still. But everything else, I trust you with. Or you could be like, I want to do run and gun. And you're like, actually, I don't like what you've built. I'm going to click run and gun again. And it'll build another setup for you. And it's all still just based on stuff you've unlocked. But it gets rid of that, I would say, like math in between matches where you're like, what's the best kind of, you're just like, no, this is my kind of preset loadout based on what I've added to my gun. And it makes for some really cool but very easy ways to make loadouts and actually stay competitive.
Sweet. All right, quickly tell me about maps, modes, and lots of variety.
Yeah, so the game's launching with 12 maps. I would say probably about half of them are from the single player, you know, variations of the single player that have then gone on to become multiplayer maps. And then a few others that are, you know, made from the ground up for multiplayer. And so you'll be on, you know, the streets of Korea. You'll be in a Korean nuclear base. You'll be in Russia. You'll be in New York, Mumbai. It's a globe-trotting game, and the multiplayer kind of, you know, lends itself to that. There's one specific map called Kill Block, which is really cool, which is basically they have what they call slabs. And so you play a 10v10 gunfight mode, which for folks that don't know, it's between rounds. You're getting put with a gun that everybody's using the same gun. And it's 10v10 permanent death until the next round. And what it does is the map is constantly changing. So every time between rounds, the map, there's 3 sections. One of the sections might change, or 2 of them might change, or the middle might change. And so every single time you finish a round, not only are you getting a new gun that you have to play with, but also the map is completely different.
Cool.
And they're really proud of it. They said that there's over 500 combinations. So it's very unlikely that anybody will ever play the same thing twice. But
I don't know about that.
yeah. A lot of people play Call of Duty. But then when I asked them about a seed possibility, they said that they eventually might do something down the road where it's like, I really like this combination, so I want to do a custom game and type in these string of numbers, and that's the combination I'm going to get.
Sweet. All right. And the final thing, talk to us about Prestige this time around.
Yeah, this is where I get my name in the credits for Modern Warfare 4. So, yeah, they have 2 Prestige modes in this game, which is Prestige Classic and Prestige Regular. Prestige Classic is your normal level up to level 55, reset everything, rank, guns, everything gets reset, but you get multiple rewards. You get a Prestige badge, and you get to start over, this time with an XP boost. Now there's Prestige Regular, which is you don't reset everything when you get to level 55, but you get fewer rewards, fewer XP boost on your next trek. But it's for the people that want to say, I've Prestige, I've earned the next badge, but I still have all my guns and attachments. And my gripe with them came from the fact that that didn't make sense, that regular it should be called Prestige New. So, and they said that they're working on that. So we'll see what it's called by the time it's done. And if you see a big special thanks to Mark Medina in the credits, that's why. Yeah, but basically everybody's first trek to 55 will be the same. Then at 55, you get to choose Prestige Classic or Prestige Regular. Then once you get to 55 again, you get to choose again.
Okay.
So every single time you Prestige, you get to choose, I want to go a Classic route. No, I want to go the regular route. And the way is because the reason for it is because they've noticed that a lot of people just don't Prestige because they don't want to lose all their stuff. So they're trying to cater to those people that don't want to lose their stuff, but want to be part of the Prestige conversation.
Lots of new stuff in there. Mark Medina, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4. We're going to get to see more of this at the Xbox Showcase on June 7th, which will be airing live right here on IGN. I'll be hosting our live pre and post show for that. So come hang out beforehand and then stick with us after for all of our reactions and analysis. Mark Medina, thank you so much, sir.
Sometimes, against our better judgment, we do the same thing over and over again, hoping for a different outcome. Developer Housemarque's new third-person bullet hell shooter, Saros, explores this idea in many ways. The roguelite level structure, the repeated combat encounters, and the internal conflicts of its main character, Arjun. It also has a similar gameplay foundation to its predecessor, Returnal, with fluid gunplay and deft movement. But in trying to be more thematically ambitious, Saros opens itself up to pitfalls Returnal didn't have to manage, leaving some of its more interesting threads unsatisfyingly hanging. Still, its tough as nails combat is worth getting good for, even when its repetition can wear you down. Arjun Devraj is an expeditioner for the Space Corps Soltari. He sports the voice and likeness of actor Rahul Kohli, who absolutely nails the leading role.
This is what it does. It gets in our heads, and it twists, and it turns.
His crew is sent out to investigate the disappearance of previous expeditions on Carcosa, a planet riddled with biomechanical imagery and the Gothic architecture of a lost alien civilization. The science fantasy and Geiger influence is definitely used effectively here. It's also reminiscent of the modern Doom games, especially when its chaotic combat encounters and pounding soundtrack evoke a similar feeling. You quickly realize that something is extremely off, with each solar eclipse turning the planet into a hellscape and inducing a deep psychosis that chips away at everyone's well-being as tensions grow increasingly hostile.
It was promised.
There are parallels to works like Heart of Darkness or Apocalypse Now, but Saros is more of an adaptation of the 19th century anthology The King in Yellow by Robert Chambers. It pulls names and themes directly from the book itself while brushing up against a little cosmic horror. You see Arjun battling with his own sanity and past decisions as you get further and have to ponder, what is Saltari's real purpose? Does that matter? Why does Arjun keep respawning as few even bat an eye? Is any of this real? Those are all interesting questions as you unpack what Saros is really about. And you do so primarily by blasting through multiple run-based levels that make up Carcosa. The more you familiarize yourself with the unrelenting attack patterns of enemies and learn how to be effectively aggressive with weapons you vibe with, the closer you get to a flow state that speedy shooters like this uniquely tap into. It's strongly rooted in Returnal's design philosophies, with a few edges sanded off, and while I don't think Saros is necessarily an evolution, I came away with a sated appetite for Housemarque's house style. Carcosa's various biomes are broken up into distinct levels, which themselves must be completed in a single run to make progress. It's a different way of packaging a similar idea. Levels shift ever so slightly with each run, pulling from a defined set of rooms to generate the path forward. Some rooms emphasize platforming challenges, most throw hordes of biomechanical amalgamations at you, and some are a tough mix of both. Runs do begin to blend together as the cadence doesn't really change that much since the parameters are fairly tight. But in a game like this, death is part of the process, and each failed run is a training ground for what you ultimately need to do. Get through the level as healthy as possible, and defeat its boss in one fell swoop. This largely works because, like it has done historically, Housemarque makes damn good shooters. From 2D and top-down shmups such as Resogun and Ex Machina to the third-person bullet hell of Returnal. So speed and agility are priorities, and that's balanced with a generous tracking system for aiming, which makes Saros play a little closer to an arcade shooter. I often relied on the Onslaught rifle that disables auto-aim altogether for powerful shots, or the Smart rifle that homes in on targets to let me focus on mobility. Most guns come with a satisfying impact, including pistols that remain relevant throughout, and the late-game ripsaws that tear through enemies with damage over time. All of which come with different perks and several variations that drop randomly during runs. Saros makes brilliant use of the DualSense controller's haptic feedback here, mapping its alternate fire modes to a half trigger pull that you physically feel, and the windup of your power ability to a full trigger pull, both of which are crucial to execute at a moment's notice. But having firepower is only half the battle, because the most challenging part of Saros is reacting to the colorful beams that hound you on the battlefield. Enemies fire off a rapid mix of blue shots that can be absorbed to fuel your shield and power ability, red shots that can be parried but not blocked, and yellow shots that build corruption to limit your max health, but empower certain weapons. So knowing when to evade and when to take those hits head on is something you'll constantly have to process and learn to love. Where fighting through hordes of aliens in combat arenas is about managing the chaos of everything they throw at you, boss fights are more about attention to detail, where swift visual and audio cues tip you off to what's coming, asking you to be quick enough to position yourself and react while still finding windows of opportunity to get your own shots in. This dynamic tapped into a little bit of my rhythm game skills, and it's this test of your reflexes that I enjoyed most, even in moments of frustration, because I knew coming out of the other end, it would be a moment of triumph. Saros eases the friction of Returnal a bit by putting a bigger focus on permanent resources and upgrades. Back at the home base hub area, you'll work through a skill tree that improves your health, shield and power potency, and rate of resource gathering. Certain branches can boost weapon leveling to help you pick up better versions in runs or make your clutch ultimate ability stronger. But progress isn't necessarily about deepening your skill set or fundamentally changing your playstyle. Rather, it's about making its challenges a little bit more manageable for future runs, and hopefully you can play smarter as well. These are incremental upgrades that are important to obtain because things do get very difficult. But this is why Saros can get pretty monotonous at times. Instead of challenging you to think creatively about combat, more weight is put on your ability to survive in a war of attrition. I respect that approach, but when you have to spend 20 to 30 minutes going through the motions in a level just to get another shot at the boss, the repetition begins to settle in. I suppose it comes with the territory for a roguelite shooter of this style, where build crafting isn't really a thing, outside of hopefully plucking out your preferred weapons and powers with a good set of perks. It's an approach that has its merits, demanding that you stay locked in during a run, but that doesn't stop it from feeling tedious in spots. As a PlayStation 5 exclusive, Saros seems like it's trying to align itself more closely with Sony's other prestige single-player games by having a more deliberate, high-concept story. Themes of trying to break harmful cycles, coming to terms with grave mistakes, and even struggles with sexual identity work their way into what initially seems like something primarily inspired by Hollywood sci-fi. I commend that approach because there are intriguing threads to pull on, but the ways the storytelling comes up short really stick out when there's a bigger emphasis on it this time around. Saros gets halfway there, but unfortunately leaves many of its stronger plot lines underdeveloped.
I thought you were. Oh well.
Arjun is a compelling lead because while he's dead set on chasing someone important to him on Carcosa, something deeper continually brews inside him. His stubbornness manifests in various ways as he simultaneously tries to make sense of the loop that he's stuck in.
I can't let them down.
There are moments when Saros built toward revelations that felt like breakthroughs in the story, which had me engaged, but sometimes those moments would be teed up without the follow-through required for them to fully pay off. Flawed, even irredeemable characters can be really interesting, and feeling conflicted about these kinds of stories is a fascinating mental exercise to work through, but you need a deft hand to truly pull that off. Most supporting characters have arcs that boil down to their descent into madness told in voice notes, and aside from a select few back at base and a bossy Soltari computer that has a bit of an identity crisis, there isn't much added depth.
How could Soltari miss so much?
Outside of a few cutscenes, there are brief conversations with the crew, but they feel stilted and have weird face animations. At least they serve into feeding into the unnerving setting.
My job is to keep my team alive.
However, Saros does have some of the strongest use of readable data logs I've seen. Beyond just being flavor text, there's some great writing that provides insights in the form of Soltari reports, employee data, or diary-like entries which create a kind of thematic texture that's genuinely effective. And I wish some of this found its way into the main story. It doesn't help that the storytelling is so abstracted that it obscures your understanding of what is actually happening. Now, I'm not asking for its message to be spoon-fed to me, or its twisting sequence of events to be laid out in broad daylight, but I do expect the story to create through lines that lead to something we can define with only the pieces we're given. Some of my favorite stories and games leave things up to interpretation because there's real power in connecting the threads for yourself, but they still had to lay the groundwork to let us piece it together and form our own perspectives. I get the sense that Saros relied a little too heavily on its literary inspiration to fill those gaps.
Access the device and follow the path you opened.
Returnal was impactful because it solely focused on Celine and her time loop fighting through Atropos. It used that format to reflect her personal struggles that were subtle in the early hours, then gave you the means to paint a clearer picture the deeper you got. Roguelite as a metaphor works so well here, and its parallels hit hard when you reached a point where it all started to connect. Saros bites off more than it could chew, which I can admire, but the actual execution struggles to send the message it thinks it's sending. With Saros, Housemarque once again proved that its bullet hell sensibilities mesh incredibly well with fluid and super challenging action. This is primarily a test of skill that's as much a rhythmic dance as it is a fireworks show with a punch-packing sci-fi arsenal. The roguelite structure doesn't always work in its favor as it struggles to balance the repetition that's a natural part of the genre with a strong sense of progression. Although going through the motions was still fine because at least I could sharpen my skills for some sick boss fights that were as difficult as they were fun. I'm left conflicted after the 22 hours I put into seeing it all the way through to its true ending, though. There's a bigger emphasis on story this time around, and it's more ambitious in some respects, which I can appreciate, but when its strongest ideas are a bit too abstracted, powerful themes can end up ringing hollow. So while it's eclipsed by its predecessor in some important ways, Saros was still worth banging my head against over and over again. If you want more on recent sci-fi shooters, you should check out my review of Pragmata, or if action RPGs are more your thing, check out our review of Diablo 4 Lord of Hatred. And for everything else in the world of games, stick with IGN.
Like the man himself, a James Bond game should ooze style and swagger. There's no point in a timid tie-in with neither the balls nor ability to bring the Bond fantasy to life, and I've never particularly wanted one that simply gaffer tapes all the loudest bits of Call of Duty together and stuffs them into a tuxedo.
Ooh, very dapper. Give us 12.
Piss off. What I've wanted is a Bond game that's confident and charismatic, one that both ebbs patiently and peaks violently as it segues between social stealth, dangerous infiltrations, gadget-driven shenanigans, and destructive, never-tell-me-the-odds action. What I've wanted is a Bond game like 007 First Light, and what we got is the best Bond game I've ever played.
Do you have an appointment?
The name's Bond.
James Bond. He's with me.
First Light's greatest success is just how impressively developer IO Interactive has executed on its mission to create something that it can call its own within a very established universe. What we get is something that's unmistakably Bond and respectfully adjacent to everything that has come before it, but confidently occupies its own space as a uniquely separate take.
Let's see what all the fuss is about.
That is, it never seems like a situation akin to 2001's 007 Agent Under Fire, which felt like the series was in a holding pattern before EA cut another check for Pierce Brosnan. No, this is a fastidiously assembled world of its very own, inspired in all the key ways by the work of creator Ian Fleming and the expectations bred by the films, but tailored for IO's take on the series like a bespoke suit.
Beyond and hello and welcome to IGN's live pre-show for Sony's big summer state of play. I'm Max Scoville, host of IGN's weekly PlayStation show Beyond, and I'm here with my good friends Jada Griffin and Nick Lamone. What's up, everybody? Beyond.
It is summer of gaming. It's here.
Video games, baby. They're back.
They're back. They were gone for a brief moment, but they're back now. IGN Summer of Gaming kicks off with Sony's hour-long state of play, which will hopefully feature a few big surprises and things we haven't heard rumors online about for months. But let's start off what we know for sure is going to be there, which is something I'm very excited about. I think we're all pretty sold on this, but Insomniac's Wolverine.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we got a pretty good, healthy dose of what this game looks like in action after a very long wait and seeing that one CG trailer on loop a few times over. It looks like a Wolverine game for sure. What do you hope to see from this?
I want to see a little bit more of what we're doing outside of the action. And I'm not saying like, oh, I want Wolverine to be like a detective and doing all that type of stuff. I just want to know what we're doing between the set pieces and not just if we are just running from set piece to set piece kind of action style, almost Uncharted like. I'm okay with that. I just want to know what that kind of the gameplay loop and vibe is going to be for the whole game.
Yeah. Nick, what about you?
For me, it's the caliber of Insomniac, right? Insomniac is always doing stuff inventive when it comes to weapons, combining weapons, unlockables, and it's like not open world design. I guess they do that with Spider-Man, but open hubs and something like Ratchet and Clank. What I'm curious to see is how Wolverine sets itself apart from Insomniac, Spider-Man 1, 2, and Miles Morales, because I don't necessarily want to be moving around a giant open world as Wolverine. So I'm curious how they can scale back on the scope of the game without compromising what makes their games feel so fun to play. And I think from what we've seen so far on, as you said, the trailers on loop in our offices, just the dismemberment, the like almost the Metal Gear Revengeance esqueness to it, where you can just how fine into meaty giblets can I cut people into? You know, like, is there a limit?
Yeah. No, the dismemberment. Yeah, they spent some time on that.
It's gnarly.
Yeah,
It is.
it's pretty intense, and it's like I love that it's about a dude with knives for hands who can't be killed. It should be a big ol' M-rated game. Like, it should not be rated T for teen, and they're clearly not even considering doing that. But no, to your point about the world structure, I think we hear an Insomniac Marvel game, and the knee-jerk reaction is to be like, cool, it'll be Spider-Man with claws, but that's
not what I want.
That's exactly, yeah. And I mean, yeah, like Insomniac's kind of prestige, they've always been really good at like gadgets and weapons. And Wolverine is not that. So I'm kind of like, again, they do great open world stuff. They do great traversal with Spider-Man. They do cool gadgets and weapons. And none of those really apply here. And that's not to say I don't have faith. I'm actually I'm completely sold on this game. Like, there's not even like a moment of hesitation. So at this point, it's kind of just gilding the lily. Like, I don't know what. I guess I do want to see a kind of uninterrupted stretch of gameplay, to your point, to see kind of what the moment to moment is. I'm sure there's going to be something puzzle adjacent, you know.
They always seem to sprinkle a little bit of puzzle stuff into their games, which is fine. I enjoy that, like, little breaks from time to time. I also really want to see how they're handling his regeneration, because you're obviously going to take damage. You're going to get shot. You're going to get hit. What is that going to look like graphically in this game? Because the last X-Men game where you had that did a pretty good job of showing the regeneration.
Yeah, skeleton, you see bits of his like adamantium skeleton. But to that point, what does it look like to have a failure state in this game? If Wolverine can't die, like, what does a game over screen look like, and how do you achieve that? Do you just have to stop playing for like 30 seconds while Wolverine regenerates his head or something?
Just lay there and all the guards go back into stealth, and they're just like, well, he's dead, we're good.
Well, one thing that I do think I'm the most excited about, though, Insomniac has proven time and time again that they are the cutting edge when it comes to showcasing the power of the PlayStation 5. So I just can't wait to see, you know, is this game going to be running at a 4K, 120 frames per second? Like, they know how to optimize their games for the platform. So I'm just excited to see, one, how smooth the game is, and two, what other fun tricks they've learned in its long development cycle. And since, you know, bringing Spider-Man to the PlayStation 5, like, what other tricks of the trade have they learned that they're going to apply here? So I'm very, very excited.
Yeah, I know. We're at that point where the devs have had the PS5 for long enough that they can really kind of open it up and do cool things there. Let's talk about this sort of elephant in the room, which is God of War. We've been hearing rumblings about a new God of War something for quite some time now. I don't know, Jason Schreier at Bloomberg has talked about how there's a spin-off that is borderline unrecognizable from what we're used to. We got the, you know, the tease of the remake trilogy. We got Sons of Sparta. Like, the God of War franchise is sort of in interesting spots. And there's also the TV show in the works. Like, they're doing stuff. They're making moves there. But as to know what Sony Santa Monica's core team is working on, that's kind of a big mystery. Schreier said that it's going to be a spinoff that is like basically a new IP, practically a new IP. And yeah, I'm dying to see what this is, if this is in fact going to be there.
Yeah, I think if they're trying to make this different from God of War, I'm interested most in seeing how it sets itself apart. Because I think anybody coming to this franchise, this new spinoff in this franchise, is still going to want that core kind of vibe and feel for God of War. But I think they're going to be open to different gameplay if that's what they're going for. And I hope they are, because I want something different. Otherwise, why not just make God of War 3 at this point? Or whatever, not 3, but obviously whatever next mythology we're going to.
The next Kratos-esque game. And you know, when you look at a showcase or a state of play like this, I often think from like a branding perspective that there is some sense of, you want to show off your portfolio, why people need to play on PlayStation 5. And the fact that we are, you know, rumored getting this God of War thing in a presentation where we have Wolverine. When I think of Wolverine and God of War, I think there's a lot of overlap there. It's up close and personal. It's very brutal, violent combat. And it's something that, you know, when the dust settles on your encounter, you feel like a badass walking out of it. And I'm curious, like, I don't think they would show two things that are that similar back to back in the same presentation, which makes me think this truly is going to be something unlike anything we've seen. So at that point, what's left? What makes God of War God of War? Why does it need to be set in the God of War universe? And I think it's going to be, maybe we are finally going to get a different pantheon at this point. Maybe we get to explore different pantheons.
I mean, it is in a weird spot where, like, you know, Ragnarok was huge, and again, that was also a cross-platform game, so we haven't gotten to see a God of War game that is exclusively using PS5 hardware. There's the remake of the trilogy in the works, which that's got the original Kratos, but Christopher Judge, when asked about that at some fan event, was like, oh yeah, I'm not doing that, but it's going to have all the new combat stuff. It's going to be all new high techs. And he's just kind of blurting out.
Wait, he said that?
He said that about the remake, which is like, I don't, okay, well, you're not involved, but clearly you've seen something. And then he was like, you're going to see what we're working on late summer. And it's not late summer yet, but like, I don't know.
I mean, why wait till late summer when you can debut it early summer?
Yeah, sure, exactly. But also, like, I don't know if Kratos says what we're working on, that would sort of suggest that Kratos is in fact involved here. And yeah, I don't know. I'm
maybe he's a companion character this time.
Maybe. Yeah. So yeah, that's again another big sort of mystery in Sony's first party single player portfolio. The other one that we've seen a bit of is what Naughty Dog's been working on, which is Intergalactic: The Heretic Prophet, revealed at the TGAs. Again, this is Naughty Dog's new thing. This is it's in space, it's in a Porsche, they got some Adidas, they got some Pet Shop Boys. It's really it looks cool, but also it looks like it's a long ways away. I feel like we are not going to see this today, but I would love to be proven wrong.
I think we could see a small teaser. Maybe it's just another kind of cinematic that we get for it that kind of like shows a little bit more of what we're getting into and what to expect. But I think you're right. I think we are still at least another year away from getting a full-on like gameplay reveal for this one, which makes me sad because I'm very excited for this. This just everything they've been talking about when it comes to Intergalactic, it seems like it's going to be up my alley. So I'm really hoping that it is going to scratch the itch that I want it to.
I think I'm going to be the optimist here. I think we are going to get gameplay during this state of play, and I think this state of play needs to bring out all the big guns. And I think that this needs to be a statement that's getting made of like why you need to own a PlayStation 5. And I think by getting games from Insomniac, from Sony Santa Monica, and from Naughty Dog, I think PlayStation would be making that mission statement very loud and clear. And one thing that has me most excited about this next game from Naughty Dog, this is their first new game in a very long time.
Yeah.
Now that they've left behind the Uncharted's, they left behind the Last of Us's, and now this is a brand new thing. I'm always excited to see new things appear on consoles. And if Naughty Dog has done anything, they've shown audiences why you need to own a PlayStation.
Exactly.
Because
yeah.
The level of like high fidelity visuals that they pump into their game it's borderline irresponsible, but totally, I love it. Totally. The consumers win.
Yeah. So like, again, we're talking about all single player stuff. We didn't get a chance to get to the multiplayer stuff, which again has been kind of an iffy situation for Sony this generation. What is it? Marathon Season 2 just got a trailer like 2 hours ago, an hour ago. There's Horizon Hunters Gathering, which is doing play tests left and right. There's also Fair Games, which is in the works. Again, we might see something from that department. There's also Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls. Yeah, we're going to find out in a second, but we need to take a quick break because there's more in the works. So stick around. IGN Summer of Gaming continues after this.
IGN Summer of Gaming is presented by Evil Dead Burn, only in theaters July 10th.
The average Cinefix movie list features nearly 100 different films and approximately 25 minutes worth of wall-to-wall deep dive analysis. To simulate that pace for this 30-second ad, we're featuring 26 different films. And before you say it, no, that math does not check out. We're not math people, we're movie people. We can't even count down from 10 without ending up at, 96. Subscribe to IGN Movies and TV for more Cinefix movie lists. Bad at math, great at movies.
Can't find that final collectible you're missing? IGN strategy guides and interactive maps are here to help.
One step at a time.
IGN guides are trusted by millions, easy to use, and best of all, free. IGN has the very best, most complete and accurate guides for Shadow of the Erdtree, Baldur's Gate 3, Tears of the Kingdom, and so much more.
See? It's good, right?
Every guide is tested and verified for you by experts. Just search for IGN when you search for guides.
IGN Plus is where your adventure begins.
What are you selling?
Plus is the place to get unlimited access to all the tools you need to beat your games.
Here's what you need to know for bringing down Gloomspawn.
Plus, awesome exclusive discounts on IGN Store.
Maybe this would tease open your money pouch.
Plus, ad-free browsing on IGN.com. Plus, unlimited game help tools like premium interactive maps with your own custom map markers, filters, marker notes, and more. Plus, access to sweepstakes, giveaways, and free game keys. Wow!
Exactly.
Want more? Head to IGN.com/plus and start your adventure today.
Welcome back. If today has you excited for big gaming events, just remember that IGN Live is coming out this weekend. It is a 2-day in-person event celebrating all the best in gaming and entertainment. You can expect celebrity appearances, live stage shows like this one, panels, meet and greets with people like us, playable game demos, tons of giveaways, and lots more. That is all happening June 6th and 7th in downtown LA. You can check the full lineup and grab tickets at IGN.com/live. And if you use the coupon code BEYOND, the name of this show, you can score a complimentary one-day ticket. If you can't make it in person, no worries, because you can stream the whole thing on IGN Live, which IGN, Live, which you're watching right now. And of course, that Summer Games Fest is happening this Friday, and you can catch that live on IGN as well with a pre-show that kicks off at 1:30 p.m. Pacific. Okay, get that out of the way. Let's talk about the third-party stuff. One thing that I think we've all been really dying to hear more about is when we're going to play that last third of Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Oh, it needs to get here so soon. Nick and me, we love Final Fantasy.
I'm going to be in tears if we hear anything about Final Fantasy VII Part 3. I don't think we're going to, as much as it pains me to say this, I don't think we're going to see anything dramatic from Final Fantasy or Square Enix in this presentation. Maybe a title reveal with a teaser to like tune into SGF is my guess. And the reason why I say that, Final Fantasy VII in particular has always been associated with the PlayStation brand. However, tomorrow, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is getting released on Nintendo Switch 2 and Xbox. We've noticed Square Enix going more and more with the multi-platform route. So one thing that makes more sense to me is to announce a simultaneous multi-platform release for whatever Part 3 ends up being called at a more agnostic event like Summer Games Fest. So that's my speculation, but I'm praying I'm wrong, because I want to see this game like yesterday.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense. Square Enix has commented many times about their games not hitting the financials that they need when it comes to sales numbers. Going to multiple platforms on day one is a way to help fix that. You got 3 times the player base potentially. So that's good. I'm for that strategy if they're going for it. I will be sad that it's not PlayStation exclusive, because it's, it's a PlayStation person first. Like, I always love having. Well, and I love, because when your game is developed for a console specifically, you often see those like fine-tuned improvements that are specific to your console. When you have to split to multiple consoles, sometimes that fractures some development time. But I'm more than happy to give that up for other people to be able to enjoy it day one and not have to wait behind that Sony paywall to get it. Buy our console if you want to play this game. What do you think the R is going to be in for this one?
That was going to be my next question.
Sorry, Max. I beat you to it.
I mean, off the top of my head, probably something like Return. I don't. They've already used Rebirth, which I was like, okay, maybe that one. They've already used Reunion for Crisis Core, so I'm just gonna say Return, because I'm on the spot right now, and I don't want to get it wrong.
Max, any
Reborn?
guesses?
Reborn? I don't know.
Okay,
but that's
kind of
Rebirth, right?
basically, just a different.
Do you think Square Enix is that concerned with video game titles?
I think Recollection.
Revengeance. Anyway,
Revengeance.
I do think there's a point to be had about, if you launch your game on multiple platforms at once, all at once, it becomes a zeitgeist. It becomes part of the conversation. If you kind of drip feed it, you might get that that fun of exclusiveness. You don't have to develop all for multiple platforms at once. But look at Resident Evil Requiem. That launched on the consoles and Switch, and it is one of the best-selling games of the year. It is the fastest-selling Resident Evil game in franchise history. It was a great game. We all loved it. And I think right now we're kind of waiting to see what Capcom has next. Something that kind of blew me away about Requiem, not Requiem itself, but the lead up to it, is that it's been less than a year since that was revealed.
Yeah.
And we were hearing rumors about it for ages that Leon would be back. And it was at Summer Games Fest last year that we got a look at this game in action. And initially we were all like, well, I don't know. There's no Leon. It's just this new lady. I don't know. She looks kind of blah. And of course, I ate those words very quickly. We're all waiting on DLC. I know there's Mercenaries mode. People want that. We've got the Leon Must Die Forever, which is a cool little, bonus.
It's a fun little roguelike.
Yeah, this is all good. I'd be happy with any of that. I also hope we see Code Veronica remake.
Yes.
I mean, I think, look, I want to see Code Veronica remake as much as the next person, but I don't think it'd be wise to dilute the waters by having 2 Resident Evil announcements. But hey, I would love to be wrong. I think they've done 2 Resident Evil announcements before in the past in a PlayStation State of Play. But I think that they're going to go all in on a DLC for Requiem. I'm hoping for a Chris/Ada campaign. That'd be sick. But I don't know. But I say if we do hear from Code Veronica, I don't think it's going to be until SGF is my guess.
Yeah, that's a safe bet. I mean, yeah, to your point about a cross-platform release, if you're trying to get the biggest audience, this is first and foremost a PlayStation showcase. And Capcom has a great working relationship. They've revealed a bunch of Resident Evil stuff during various states of play and showcases, but it's, again, for these big summer things, I can see that being the one where you get the most eyes on it. One thing that we did get revealed at the most recent state of play was Silent Hill Townfall, which, again, looking at Capcom's playbook, Konami seems to be following suit. And we got Silent Hill 2 remake, and then we got Silent Hill F, and then we got this one, which is from what is it called? They've had one other game to their name. It's a studio that did, I think it's the TV Glow or something.
Is it Annapurna? Is it?
It's Annapurna worked on it, but yeah, it's
I started looking it up as soon because I was like, who is it? Yeah, it's Annapurna Interactive. Yeah. And the developer is
Screenburn, who did. Anyway, we can look this up later. But yeah, it's a new Silent Hill game, which is exciting.
Yeah.
It's first person. I'm into this because it's Silent Hill F was cool. It did the whole kind of Japanese focus. I dig that this is a weird, foggy American town. I feel like that's kind of quintessentially Silent Hill.
I think this is like Scotland, if I'm not mistaken.
Is it Scotland?
Saint Amelia is the name of the place. But regardless, to your point, I do think that when we saw that we were getting so much Silent Hill, I was like, everyone's eyes narrowed a little bit. It was during the era of Konami. Are they actually coming back? Silent Hill 2 ended up being incredible from Bloober. Silent Hill F, I loved from last year. I thought that game was phenomenal. So whatever they're doing with Silent Hill, I think they understand the general tone that we're looking for and what Silent Hill is about. And if I'm not mistaken, based on the previous time we've seen this, it seems like there's a lot of cancer imagery. It looks like we are in this, foggy town. It looks very scary. It looks spooky. And then you got that little scanner.
A gross guy with a shape for a head, not quite pyramid head.
It's checking all the boxes.
Yeah. I think it's so the studio is based in Glasgow. Developers worked on Alien Isolation and Red Dead Redemption before forming their own studio, and they worked on Stories Untold. So I feel like there's some good talent in the room. What we've seen so far looks really promising.
I think Konami's being really smart about this franchise right now. They've been giving it out to different studios to do the work and doing the work in the genres where they shine and letting them just kind of hey, you do this really well, do this with this franchise. And like you said, Nick, they've been on a roll with their last bunch of Silent Hill games. So I think hopefully this is going to follow suit the same way.
And now, we're talking about Konami, so I think maybe we get a look at Metal Gear Solid 4 running on the HD not the Master Collection. What is it called?
Master Collection Volume 2. I
yeah,
guess.
Part 2. Yeah. So this will be the first time. Konami's been on a roll. Everything they're doing is great. I hope we finally get to see Metal Gear Solid 4 running on modern hardware. They said it's happening, so let's just see it in action.
I would love to be. Well, I feel like I'm going to be disappointed even saying this. I'd love to see a new Metal Gear something, like another Delta-shaped remake, or I know this is a blasphemous thought, but a new Metal Gear game. Just
maybe
a new Metal Gear game that isn't necessarily, well, definitely not involved with Kojima, but I don't know. I love that franchise. I'd love to see it signs of life.
Do you think we'll see Fizzant today at all?
No, there's no way.
I don't know. I think I saw Kojima's Instagram. I think he's in LA now, so who knows?
That's very possible. I don't think we're gonna see Fizzin. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw OD during the Xbox game
Yeah, that
showcase,
makes more
but
sense.
Fizzin feels like it Fizzin coming out this decade. So I'm gonna keep using that joke until they tell me to stop. Speaking of famed directors going off and forming their own studios, there's also Project Robot from Fumito Ueda for Team Ico. This was revealed at TGA's 2024. It looks like Team Ico meets Evangelion or something. Like it's got a very apocalyptic mech imagery.
Yeah. I mean, this is one of those games where it just kind of, I think it took us all by surprise in the best ways. When it revealed, there was just so much going on that we just didn't understand the context of. And I think that's kind of what Fumito Ueda does best with his games. So this was shown in a state of play, what, 2 years ago now, I think, at this point? Maybe it was last year.
I think it was TGA's.
Was it TGA's?
Yeah, it was a TGA.
It was a
Which is
TGA.
always-
So
yeah, that's always kind of an odd. Like I feel like Jeff frequently gets former developer studio head of blank has new studio. Here's their new project, but it's something that previously was associated with like a big, first party publisher, maybe. Yeah, but yeah, I'd love to see more of this. Again, with something like with how long we waited for The Last Guardian. I feel like we're almost accustomed to be like, yeah, well, we'll check this game out in 7 years or whatever.
I don't think we see this game today, mostly because I think, Fumito Ueda, I want to see more from this game. I love Ico, Shadow of the Colossus, and I even like The Last Guardian. But, Fumito Ueda made that statement at the TGAs, or it was announced officially that he'd be working with Epic Games to develop/publish this robot game. So I don't think it's going to happen, especially since a lot of the studios that were associated with Ueda have been shut down at PlayStation. So it just feels like it's like you're watching your ex succeed after you broke up with them, and it's like, oh, well, what could have been?
I mean, I feel like we see a lot of that in the gaming industry as different studios move to different companies. Like, Bungie went to Xbox, then now they're with PlayStation, and there's been a lot of back and forth with a lot of studios.
It's an odd time. But yeah, jumping off that, another Capcom IP besides Resident Evil we could see is Devil May Cry.
This is my hopium title to show up on this today. I need Devil May Cry 6. It's the perfect time. We just finished season 2 of the Netflix anime. Why not bundle that with that excitement, that energy for Devil May Cry 6? It has been way too long since we've got to see Dante, Virgil, and everybody else just hacking and slashing to demons to bits. I want more of this. I need this in my veins immediately.
Bury the light.
Yes.
Bury the light. I mean, I think please don't yell at me for saying this. I think we're gonna see a Devil May Cry 1 remake before we see Devil May Cry 6.
That was my next thought. Yeah.
I wouldn't be mad about it, because I do think Devil May Cry 1, as outstanding as it is, it'd be nice to play that in like in the RE engine. I think that could be pretty sick.
I wouldn't be surprised if we got that, and I wouldn't be mad either. I think if they were doing, the remake remaster treatment is all the rage with a lot of those older games right now. Capcom is doing it with Onimusha, right? Yep. So I could see Devil May Cry being the next on that list.
What they need to do is actually just remake 2.
I think needs a full facelift.
I think remake is the move there, because it's, again, people get scared off by a number from a 25-year-old franchise.
6 is daunting.
Yeah, and it's again, when you wait that long just between entries in a series, like there's an entire generation of gamers that shows up in that time who's like, what's going on over here? Devil May Cry? Oh, you mean like the Netflix show? It's you got to have a new point of entry for people. Yeah, speaking of games that are actually announced, but long breaks between new entries, Kingdom Hearts 4 is a thing that is theoretically happening.
Don't even give me the hope, because part of me always was like, is this the one where we see Kingdom Hearts 4? Hey, look, PlayStation needs to come out swinging. I think partnering with Square Enix, people will talk about the PlayStation conference or the state of play if we see Kingdom Hearts 4. It needs to happen. Tetsuya Nomura, show me what you've got, baby. I'm ready. I'm ready with open arms.
There's been a lot of chatter in the live chat, which I'm watching and monitoring, for Kingdom Hearts 4. So also Devil May Cry 6. So shout out to you guys out there. Yes, I'm one of y'all.
Will we see Star Wars in Kingdom Hearts?
Ooh.
I feel weird.
But Max, there was like maybe a little bit of a leg of an AT-AT. What do you mean?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we get it. I mean, we had Pirates of the Caribbean, so it shows that they can handle
live action.
They can handle live action. So why not get Star Wars? question is, are we going to get Marvel? Like, is that going to be?
I need to see Goofy team up with Robert
about-
Downey Jr.'s
What
Iron
about Alien and Predator and Die Hard? Like, I feel like since the last Kingdom Hearts, Disney has acquired a large chunk of popular culture as a whole, and at that point, you're like, does that go in Kingdom Hearts 2?
This is all just an elaborate ruse to remake Final Fantasy Versus 13 with a Kingdom Hearts 4 skin on top of it. We're gonna go back to.
Oh, don't.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to open the can of worms. But hey, I'm there with you.
No, I'm all for it. Give us Versus 13. Why not?
No,
Bring
on
it
the,
back.
on the Marvel front, we know we're getting Wolverine. There's also Marvel Tokon, which is coming out.
Yes.
That's got a release date. That's on the way. I feel like that's a fairly quantifiable thing at this point. To the point where I think they're going to do like a character reveal, maybe.
They've got to show off.
Yeah,
the character.
I think that's pretty much all I really need is just to see more of the roster for this game. I don't think I need to see more like intense gameplay. Maybe like what features they're going to have. Like, are they going to have something like Street Fighter 6's like story mode where you go around and meet other characters in the universe? I don't know what that's
something unusual around like there being one level or something like that. Like the X-Men mansion. Like there's just like I want to see more environments. I want to see because they've only shown the outside the X-Men.
No, they showed Savage Lands.
Did they? Okay,
yeah, they showed a couple of them. It looks cool. Again, it feels like such a known quantity. It's Marvel versus Capcom without the Capcom, and I'm into that. But I feel like I want like a little more of a hook.
I just want to see more of the art. Honestly,
something that a lot of people in the chat want is Destiny 3, which I don't want to be a party pooper, but I feel like that probably is not going to happen today.
Probably not.
I mean, Marathon Season 2 just came out. Marathon is probably my current front runner for Game of the Year. I'm obsessed with it.
You did this to Destiny.
You did it.
I single-handedly did this to Destiny. I don't think we're going to see that anytime soon, but I hope that we do hear from the Destiny at some point in the future. But regardless, Season 2 did just launch today for Marathon, so it'd be very strange for PlayStation to talk about Destiny in any way, shape, or form, because that seems like a PR disaster. But hey, what do I know?
Yeah, it's exciting. You know, we always kind of hear rumblings and rumors leading up to this stuff, and there's always little things where you're like, oh, this ESRB thing popped up, and little things leaked. I think I saw like leaked footage of a Jet Grind radio.
Oh my god,
kicking around.
Yeah, there's like 2 Sega projects we haven't heard from. Jet Set Radio and Crazy Taxi.
There's screenshots for the Tomb Raider remake, Legacy of Atlantis. It's like there's
Square Enix one to
all
show
this
up.
stuff just kind of floating around in the ether. And again, it takes so long to make games that I feel like we'll hear about something 3 years ago and we're like, oh, that sounds cool anyway. And then it pops up and we're like, that thing, we heard about that sort of. And so I'm always so eager for that stuff to just kind of make a sudden appearance and everyone goes, whoa, that thing? Okay.
I mean, it's possible. This PlayStation says this state of play is over 60 minutes long, so it's going to be a meaty one. I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of big surprises and a lot of cool stuff.
I mean, they booked out theaters for people to go and watch this in theaters. They have to be feeling very confident about what they have to show today.
Wolverine state of play signature menu at Alamo Drafthouse. I love it. That's one of the things that leaked. People are like the menu of the state of play leaked, which is definitely a new one. I don't know. This is starting very soon. Reminder for everyone to please stick around afterwards because we're going to have a whole post show, maybe some surprises in store. But again, this is just the first of a whole bunch of events that are going to be happening throughout the summer. And yeah, again, between now and Gamescom, a lot of stuff is going to show up and get announced. And it's exciting. It's fun. It's nice to get excited about some new games.
Video games are back.
They're back. I love when the video games are back.
Bub.
Who's the out of left field? Who's the one Marvel character you want to see show up in Wolverine?
Magneto, because that'd be terrifying.
You can't know
that'd be terrifying.
Silliness, nonsense.
Toad. I want him.
Toad.
I want to see Toad.
All right, Deadpool. It's a long shot, but who knows? We're gonna shut up now because the thing is starting. Stick around after for the post-show spectacular. We'll see you then.
Hi, I'm Marcus Smith, Creative Director for Marvel's Wolverine. Today, we're excited to debut a new look at the game. To set the stage, Wolverine is in a race against time to rescue a group of kidnapped mutants before they're shipped off to parts unknown by cybernetically enhanced mercenaries known as the Reavers. However, Logan quickly discovers he isn't the only mutant attempting to save them. Let's take a look.
Let's see if we can find the one that got away. Redhead. Might be our only lead. Looks like she took off into the industrial park. All right, let's search the area. Give me a status update.
Perimeter stable. Holding position.
Oh my god! No answer. Stay sharp. I don't like this. Should do another sweep. It's too quiet. Shut it, freak! Ship's casting off! Not today, Bob. The hell?
Skullbuster! Up there!
We need backup! Now! There you are, Red.
Jean? Is that you? Don't worry. You're not going anywhere.
Everyone shoot!
You son of a bitch!
Gonna pay for that! What the hell?
Yeah! Let's go!
Shit. Yeah, that'll work. Ah, shit. Where are those mutants? He's a wild animal!
Your mind shorted. Let that be a break. It's over for the redhead. Let's get you guys out of here.
Are you a superhero?
Look, kid. I'm Wolverine.
Some folks can't wait to die.
We hope you enjoyed that new look at Marvel's Wolverine. This is a single-player action-adventure game featuring a focused, story-driven experience that will send Logan on a perilous journey across the globe, where more than innocent mutant lives are at stake. In this game, mutants live in hiding, fearful of those who would hunt them down, while most of the world doesn't even know they exist. As you saw, you'll encounter iconic Marvel characters like Jean Grey, Mystique, and Sabretooth.
Some folks can't wait to die.
We also showed you a glimpse of the brutal combat you'll experience in Marvel's Wolverine. It's fast, fluid, and visceral in the way that only Logan can deliver. Marvel's Wolverine is built to take full advantage of the PlayStation 5 consoles, and we cannot wait for you to get your hands on it when it launches September 15th, 2026. We're also happy to announce that you can pre-order your copy today at the end of the show in select markets. Check out PlayStation Blog for more information. On behalf of everyone at Insomniac Games, thank you. See you next time.
Hello and welcome to State of Play. I wanted to start by thanking Marcus and the whole team at Insomniac for that extended look at Marvel's Wolverine. We've got a ton more to share with news and updates from both PlayStation studios and third-party studios from around the globe. Let's get right to it with the latest from our friends at Arc System Works, XDev, and Marvel Games.
Prepare to face the supreme master of the pugilistic art, the Duke of Get Your Dukes Up, Mr. Champion!
Actions are worth more than any word.
And the greatest action is to fight.
You have defeated so many. You've defeated whole worlds. But you've never fought Doom. Let me show you why you should kneel. Think you're a genius, Doom? Your works are mere trinkets. My genius is endless! And now my turn.
You made promises, Doom, and those promises shall be kept.
This violence will solve nothing, Eric.
My dearest Aurora, mutant kind shall rise, and I will be the one to lead the way.
Showtime! You look a little angry, Bug. You're still holding a grudge. Curtsy, huh?
Time to stop laughing, Cobby.
That all you got? Bump the way! What? I'm gonna kill Spider-Man, not you! You want to fight? Carnage will give you one. You bastard!
Moment has come. Attack! No mercy.
Let me do it! I'll slice you up! Don't be greedy! He's mine!
Knights of Doom, destroy them! Feel my wrath!
The end is near.
I see much from my perch atop the tree of tranquility. Yet, there are some outcomes that are uncertain, even to me.
Dragons! Let's roll!
Your heroics will no doubt be the stuff of tales twice told throughout the Glade of Dreams.
Come feed my ox!
Calming biscuits? But... Oh!
Follow me, brave heroes. The Glade of Dreams is in grave danger.
It's time I made my mark.
It's 4 against 1! You don't stand a chance! Maybe he stands a little bit of a chance. Globots to the rescue!
I am as fast as a monka! Kick's eyes!
For the Glade, then!
You think this ends here?
Cool! I'm here!
Are you ready for our game, Rayman?
Let's get it pumping. I'm looking. Taking you back to the day, feeling immaculate, made action packed back to back while you yapping away. I got a knack to react, but I'm packing a grace up to the max with a fact. Let me grab the space. I had a map the place. You gonna laugh and face on long and strong, looking like a stack full of hate. It goes on and on to the back of the page. This phenomenon's on. I don't even have to say I'm where I belong. This no back in the, you know, I go where I want to.
Just say.
You can't stop me, you can't stop me to bear on them. They try to put me for mad, look at the tears on them, Mitch vibe. Yeah, so incredible. When you're this good, don't let them know. Yeah, so incredible. When you're this good, don't let them know. They ain't never hear a band like this. They ain't never seen a man like this. Don't let them know. They ain't never hear a band like this. They ain't never seen a man like this. Don't let them know.
見えてるかい？
見つけた。見えた。
無茶すんなよ。
周りをよく見てごらん。姫。
行くぞ。
シュー
捧げよ。
うっかり死んだりしちゃわないよう気をつけるんだぜ。
Hi everyone! お久しぶりです。安心な中村郁美です。Did you miss me? I missed you! と言っても多分私のことを知らないし忘れてる人もいるかもしれないんですけど、そうだな。見てね、お姉さんです。今日皆さんにお届けしたのは妖怪ハンターアクションゲームケムリです。舞台はケムリシティ。この世とあの世が混ざってるカオスな街をアジアをベースにいろんなカルチャーが入り混じってます。煙あるところに妖怪ありという言葉がありまして、それを妖怪ハンターが見つけ出します。そこで使うのが妖怪ハンターだけが使えるフォックスウィンドウ、狐の窓です。この窓を介してパラノーマル現象や妖怪を見つけ出して、で可視化してそこに妖怪をハントする。しかし妖怪をただただ集めるわけではありません。私たちのゲームでは妖怪と契約をしなければなりません。頂上をまとい未知を狩る。あなた自身に憑依してもらいます。そして憑依した妖怪のパワーを使って憑依アパレルというかっこいいアパレルをまとってスーパーパワーでもっと強い妖怪に挑んでこの世界の謎に近づいていく。ハンターは種類が3つありまして、1つは刀ハンターになります。もう1つは弓ハンター、次はシャーマン。そこで皆さんお気づきの通りマルチプレイあります。仲間と一緒に暴れて死にかけて妖怪ハンターとして一緒にこの煙シティで煙って遊んでいただければ嬉しいです。私たちはカオスをお届けして笑いをお届けしたいと思って煙を作ってます。あの世に最も近い都市煙シティへようこそと言いたいところですが、煙はまだまだ開発中です。情報いっぱい落としていきますので、もうとにかく煙の世界をこれから楽しんでください。レッツ煙、煙っていこう。シュッシュシュシュッシュシュシュッシュシュカカカカカカ。
Been halfway across the continent looking for you. Hard woman to track down.
Well, you found me.
Ms. Croft, I hear when it comes to retrieval, you're the one to hire. This isn't about glory or money or making the world a better place. This is a puzzle. buried in centuries of silence. You don't strike me as someone who walks past a locked door without wondering what's behind it. There's a reason I can only trust you with this.
Gotta say, you captured your good side.
You're assuming I've got a bad side.
So, what was your favourite from today?
I liked the Alisol.
What did you like about it?
He's big and loud.
Oh, I think my favourite is the Diplodocus.
Daisuke, they're here. I don't know if I can do this.
Back in early 2023, S-Game first showed us Phantom Blade Zero in passing at a hotel, and we knew immediately that this game had incredible potential. Look forward to more details in a gameplay and story deep dive coming later this summer. Next, let's head over to the sandworm-infested sands of Arrakis in Dune Awakening. In this open-world survival RPG, you can fully immerse yourself in the world of Dune. Unravel a cinematic story filled with mystery and intrigue, featuring many of the characters from the books and movies.
Find the Fremen, wake the sleeper.
Alone or with friends, you will explore the vast open world of Arrakis and learn to survive and thrive by unlocking the secrets of the Fremen. Along the way, you'll discover new technologies, craft gadgets and weaponry, and build a base of operations that will grow and expand as you progress towards power and fortune. Pursue the path of the Bene Gesserit, Swordmaster, Trooper, or Mentat, and master anything from mind control to brutal hand-to-hand combat. In Dune Awakening, you can choose to play with your friends or alone in a brand new single-player mode arriving with the PlayStation release. Dune Awakening arrives on PS5 on September 22nd. Pre-orders start today. The fan favorite PS2 classic Dynasty Warriors 3 is getting remastered for PS5. Dynasty Warriors 3 Complete Edition Remastered is a modern revival of the 2001 game that established the foundation of the series. Players can become one of over 40 officers and experience intense 1 versus 1,000 skirmishes across vast battlefields. And joining the battle is Zoan, the protagonist from Dynasty Warriors Origins.
It ends here.
Dynasty Warriors 3 Complete Edition Remastered launches later this year. Pre-orders start today. From the award-winning studio behind the Ori series comes a bold new vision for action RPGs. No Rest for the Wicked is a brutal Souls-like built around skill, consequence, and precision combat. Step into a living hand-painted world you can explore alone or share with friends in your own persistent realm. A world that evolves even when you're offline. The highly anticipated full 1.0 release expands everything. A massive world, a deep class and progression system, and hundreds of hours of content, including endgame, all with full crossplay and cross-save. No Rest for the Wicked launches on PS5 this October and is available to wishlist now. Up next, let's check in with Capcom for an update on Onimusha: Way of the Sword.
Doesn't matter. A beast isn't far from an Oni, you know.
You do well to follow his example.
I thought you'd see the appeal, Musashi.
That castle on the mountain.
Musashi, I sense Genma. Prepare yourself. No ordinary Genma can move like that. I doubt this area was designed to welcome visitors. The castle's owner must be terribly cautious.
I am Suten Tochi, Miyamoto Musashi, the fool who seeks strength yet rejects the power of the Oni. You shame yourself, child. Witness my might!
If you live by the sword, fighting is everything. So you've lost. Will you swap the sword for a trowel?
Like hell I will.
No? What then? Are you going to start taking human souls?
If human souls are what it takes.
Musashi, if that's the path he walks, I will follow. I've chosen to trust Musashi's judgment in all matters.
Ori departed. Give me every ounce of power that you have. In return.
Then get going, Onimusha.
We can't wait to get our hands on Onimusha: Way of the Sword this September. But you won't have to wait long to try it yourself. Here's one more update from the Onimusha team.
Who's there?
Simon. Are you there? Please say something. Where did you go, Simon?
Something doesn't feel right. Zoe? I'm sorry, Zoe?
What are you doing here?
What the hell is that?
There's more of them.
I'm so sorry.
The target is the front gate of the capital of our homeland, the Federation of Central Asia. We will storm from the sea and take the capital back from our enemy.
So you're the next one? The one whose rear we'll have to cover?
The people left behind back on the continent need something to hold on to. Some sort of symbol that inspires hope.
We will be in visual range of the land battleship soon. That's giant!
Enemy artillery intensifying. Damn it. Where's Wings when you actually need him? Huh? All units return to base.
Where are you going, Copter?
Cover Tasha, Rex.
That's where the Wings of Thief comes in. The legendary savior. Dee Dee wants the legendary savior to get as much publicity as possible. The more exposure, the better.
Cannons firing. We're gonna be wiped out.
All aircraft, pull out.
Sorry, Rex. You stay put, Joker One.
Above you fight the Wings of Thieves. No harm will come to you. Hands to the sky, everyone. Hope is within reach.
The Terminus fingers.
What, the imposter?
Sharing information isn't always about telling people the truth.
Hope's all we can offer, right, Joker One?
It's an ambush. Shadows.
Just as planned. We dangled the bait and Wings took it.
We'll find out soon enough.
Would you please? Clean flight! Submit the maneuver!
We've got a leak.
Is it time to run, Ray?
Hang on. Joker One, now it's an enemy.
You never ran away, did you?
Here we go, Rex.
Come on, Ray.
Let's go, Rex.
These skies belong to you, Rex. Go take what's yours.
皆さんこんにちは。エースコマットシリーズブランドディレクターの河野です。お待たせいたしました。エースコンバット8ウィングスオブシーブの発売日は2026年10月2日。アーリーアクセスは9月29日になります。今回の映像では皆さんがエースコンバット8で直面する出来事を一つ一つのカットに意味を持たせて約2分にギュッと詰め込んでいます。自由自在に空を飛び、ドッグファイトの興奮を味わいながらドラマティックな英雄体験ができる。他にはないエースコンバットだけの空はもうすぐそこに広がっています。加えてもう一つお伝えしたいことがあります。こちらの映像をご覧ください。
Did you know there are 3 kinds of aces?
今回エースコンバット8ウィングスオブシーブにはダウンロード版はプレイオーダー特典として、パッケージ版には早期購入特典として エースコンバットゼロザ・ベルカンウォーの移植版がつくことになりました。ぜひ8と世界を同じくするストレンジリアルの世界をもっと深く楽しんでください。お知らせした通り、発売まではあと少しです。出撃の準備を整えてお待ちください。ありがとうございました。
Great take. I think we got it.
Yep, roll playback.
There's a wounded man! Nasty injuries! It's like a beast tore him apart!
A beast? Out here? Are you drunk or something? Do him up and show him out. But he's still weak, so be careful.
What's going on?
Hurry up, move it!
Save your ammo.
Die, bastard. And you're tough. Surprisingly lively for someone who just came out of a coma.
If you want to survive, you gotta hustle.
You fell from the moon.
I will help you, but you must not go there.
I'll take my chances. Turns out I'm a lucky man.
You'll find nothing there but death.
Well, good luck. Keep quiet in there.
Something is coming. I have to go. It felt like an earthquake. But it was just a paperclip falling off a desk. The tiniest tremor before the main event.
Jesse.
I know what they put you through. You never had a chance.
2 days before the lockdown fell, an uncategorized resonance appeared in Manhattan. As things stand right now, Dylan, you're our only shot at survival.
You are not FBC. You're not even fucking human.
The FBC locked me in that cell for years and forgot about me. The hiss, it was a way out.
People can change. The past doesn't matter.
Who are you today?
We're gonna have a lot of fun together.
Darkness. For those without eyes to see. The canvas, blank and vast. Secrets buried in shadow. The graves. I cried out in my sleep. A warning. 100. Buried. Do you crave endless life?
The dangerous and cutthroat world of Marathon expands today with its second season, Nightfall. And if you haven't checked out Marathon yet, Bungie announced an open trial period for the launch of Season 2. You'll also be able to pick up Marathon at a discount. Now, let's take a look at what's coming soon to PlayStation Plus. Up first, a beloved fantasy world is finally coming to PlayStation for the first time. RuneScape Dragon Wilds is an open-world survival game where you rise from survivor to dragon slayer. Play solo or with friends as you explore Ashenfall, a beautiful, dangerous new frontier in the RuneScape universe, where power is earned and every action deepens your mastery. With magic at your command, cross deadly terrain, mass forage in seconds, uncover hidden paths, and outmatch brutal monsters. Craft stronger gear, master magic, melee, and ranged combat, and push deeper into uncharted regions of Gielinor. Build a home together, farm the land, and fish the waters. Make it yours. RuneScape Dragon Wilds arrives day 1 on PlayStation Plus later this year. Next up, here's a preview of games coming to the Classics catalog over the next few months. In June, battle colorful enemies with musical instruments in Guitaru Man, one of the most stylish rhythm games from the PS2 era. In July, PsyOps The Mindgate Conspiracy joins the Classics catalog. This PS2 action-adventure mixes run-and-gun gameplay with psychic powers. And finally, Onimusha Dawn of Dreams, a Capcom classic from 2006, launches later this year in August.
Akashima Island, haunted by dark stories. Our goal, confront the evil, corrupting paradise. This is Dead True International.
Thanks. Come on, let's get a photo together.
Ooh. Oh, over! You're rotated on that one.
A for effort, dude.
Who's the buff idiot?
Does no one know this guy?
This is how villains are made.
Oh, you two haven't met yet, right?
Sebastian, I'll be looking out for you.
Roland, whenever you're ready.
This facility has been shut down for decades. Uninvestigated, untold, until now.
This is how villains are made. Did you hear that?
Knight, are you out there? We gotta go.
Right! I have a bad feeling.
Let's get rid of it.
Grip it tight.
No! He's coming! Through there!
Take a deep breath. Fuck! Which way? Steady the mind.
We're gonna have to jump!
There's rocks down there!
Go! Go!
Can you do what needs to be done?
Hi, I'm Stu Tilley, Creative Director at Firesprite Games, and I hope you enjoyed the first look at our brand new installment of Until Dawn. In Until Dawn 2, a successful crew of ghost hunters who fake all their best content come face to face with real horrors for the very first time.
Whenever you're ready.
Having just signed a deal with a major TV network, they visit an abandoned tropical island. But beneath that beautiful surface lies dreadful, heartbreaking secrets, centuries old and hungry for vengeance. We're looking forward to sharing more details about this very soon, ahead of release in 2027. Thank you.
Now we have one more game to show, and it is something special. This is a brand new title debuting with more than 20 minutes of uninterrupted gameplay. So turn up the volume, sit back, and enjoy.
Find your way home. You are free.
Kratos! Atreus! Where am I? You know where I am? Okay. Burned clothes. The pyre. It happened. They're starting on the path. It's just... I didn't get to say goodbye. This definitely isn't the light of Alfheim. Mask. How? Oh, come on. Shouldn't have been that difficult. Yeah. Armor. Good idea. Now, how about a way out? Guess I'll find my own way from here. That mask. No, it can't be. It's not possible. If there's another mask, their path isn't safe. I have to find a way back.
Did you come from the Eagle Onslaught? Mark the gates. The gateway is closed.
That creature.
Hey, hey!
Kid. Let him go! Another mask.
This is important to you. I wonder, do you think this could set you free?
You touch me again, and I swear, I will kill you.
Would you like to see how hard it is to die here, Godly? I can show you.
You can't keep me here.
The gateway is closed. There is no escape.
Resisting the truth will only make this more painful.
Sekmet.
No, Betsy. I will handle that problem. You deal with our new pet.
Okay. I think they're gone.
Just be careful.
Fresh air. Oh, you're different.
You're a cube. Talking. You know what? It doesn't matter. How do we get out of here?
Yeah, we've tried. There's no way out.
And you're a talking sword.
I'm not the sword. I'm the ribbons, obviously. And my name is Rue. The cube is Frank.
I'm Faye. There has to be a way out of here.
A way out? But you're not even all here.
Of course I'm not here. I'm dead.
You have to be dead to come through the gateway.
It's like you're holding something back.
This isn't working. Where are we anyway?
Afterlife of the gods? I call it the everyone.
Afterlife of the gods. Great.
So, what's the plan, boss?
Not your boss, Frank. That cask. That's why you're trapped.
Yeah. Wait, you made that big explosion happen, right? Could you do that again?
My magic is wrong here. I feel wrong here.
You want out, right?
I think we all want that.
We definitely do.
Faye, you need to accept it. All of it. You're dead.
How? How do I accept that?
Simple. Focus. You're here. Be here.
But what if I need to be somewhere else?
Then focus on what you do need.
Find your way home.
Hey, that's it. What were you thinking of?
A promise.
Okay, we'll take it. Now let's get out of here.
Okay. Get ready.
Not a good idea. Bad idea.
Kratos. Kratos.
Rue? I think you should give her the sword.
How do I know I can trust her?
I'll give it back. I promise.
Okay. Take it.
Wait! You need to get out of here!
Not until I get you out.
I don't need help!
Here we go, coming up behind. Got an idea on opening that cage.
Hey kids, get ready! Come on!
No, I got a promise to keep.
Fine, but lady, that sword, it's more than you think it is.
I already told you. I will kill you.
Don't make promises you can't keep, Gotham. Try again!
Faye, focus!
Traitor! I will wrench you sweat by sweat! You don't know what you wield.
What is it?
You're scared of this sword. Why?
I fear nothing! Just give up!
I don't give up.
Kubitan.
PlayStation.
We have an interview with some of the developers at Sony Santa Monica, digging into that rather beefy chunk of gameplay we just got.
It looks like the first like 20 minutes of the game, which I was not expecting. I was half expecting him to say it's available right now, but it looks like it's in development. And if I may, I actually have the official PlayStation Store description of the game.
Let her rip.
Experience the next chapter of the legendary God of War franchise for both new and returning fans alike. Death was supposed to be the end, but for Lei Fei, warrior and wife to Kratos, a new adventure is just beginning. Awakening unexpectedly in a strange land after her death, Faye discovers the plans she put in place to protect Kratos and Atreus in her absence are now at risk. To save the one she loves, Faye must fight through the afterlife of the gods, the Everywen, where ruthless gods from across mythology vie for power in a land overflowing with dangerous magic. Harness Faye's speed, control, and relentlessness to overwhelm even the fiercest of foes with decisive, deadly precision. God of War Lei Fei is coming soon to PlayStation 5 consoles.
Okay.
Across mythology. So everyone was always speculating that we would go from one mythology to another.
Mm-hmm.
But as we see here, please forgive me if I get this wrong, but it seems like we have different cultures all at play, and that description basically confirms it. We see this demonic fire-like god who looked very like Khmerian / like Thai or Cambodian, some sort of like entity or a god, and then like an Egyptian looking god. I'm just unfamiliar with all these, and again, all these creatures that we're seeing just look completely removed from Valhalla and everything we've seen in God of War Ragnarok or 2018. So just really interesting move, and this looks great. It looks beautiful.
I did not know that I wanted to know more about Faye. And this 20-minute chunk sold me on why I want to play as her, though, which has me more interested now in learning about what her journey is going to be and more about her backstory, which is we're going to definitely get more of that. Like, I can't see a world where we don't get more of the backstory for Faye with this and learn more about her time with Kratos before her passing and moving to this new plane. The action looks fantastic. I'm very excited for the combo potential in this game.
She can jump.
You've got double jump. You've got double jumps. Looks like right off the bat. So plenty of combo potential. We were all talking about wanting a Devil May Cry in the pre-show. We're getting a kind of a Devil May Cry adjacent thing since Capcom didn't show that today. I'm very excited for this now. This was, like I said at the start, I did not know I wanted to play more as Faye or learn more about Faye, but now I don't see a world where I don't just like absorb everything in her story.
This is phenomenal looking. Like, this is just technically, visually incredible looking, and it's very cool to see what Sony Santa Monica can do when they're working with
PlayStation 5 only,
properly using new hardware. What I love the most about it is I was skeptical hearing the rumors about like mixing and matching mythologies and pantheons, but I feel like throwing them in this kind of
realm of the dead for the gods.
Yeah, this kind of limbo, whatever it is. It works for me, and I love that it looks so grounded, but so completely fantastic and over the top, just completely absurd. Like, I feel like
we got some audio playing right now.
Anyway,
bear with us, guys. We're working through it right now.
Got some audio issues here.
But yeah, this looks fantastic. I think you're right. This everywhere plane kind of solves this issue, and I think it evolves the franchise in a really smart way to where everybody's like, oh, are we going to go to Egypt next? Or are we going to go to, China or Japan mythology? It's like, we see how long game development is now, and we know how hungry Sony Santa Monica knows how hungry people are to play more God of War games and see more of these mythos in action. And I think this is a perfect kind of solution of let's get a little bit of a taste of everything. I think we'll probably see around 5 to 6 different realms is my prediction.
I don't even know if it's going to be as conventional as realms. Like I feel like the way that Norse mythology is structured, that totally works in the context of Ragnarok and the first game.
So I mean, like not realms and like locations, but I mean like different mythos. We'll see different cultures.
Well, I mean, I love the fact that it is like originally God of War. It is rooted more squarely, more kind of rigidly in mythology when you're adapting an existing mythos. But in this case, the fact that it is this kind of like garbage dump of different deities and whatever and it's clearly like people who are kind of misbehaving, it's like that. This doesn't look like the good place. This is it's a little bit rough. But you've also got, again, they're veering from, I feel like, this kind of fantastical reinterpretation of mythology into just straight fantasy.
Yeah.
And there's an argument to be made that that's always been the case, but the fact that there's a gelatinous cube seems to really just kind of put that right, front and center. This is a D&D enemy. This is not a
because I was like, is there any like, does any culture have a gelatinous cube? I was like, I don't think so.
I don't think there is, to my knowledge. That we prove us wrong, internet. Please tell us. But
from what I'm seeing, so I might have missed the names, but from our producer saying that the Egyptian looking god was Sekhmet, and the red guy is the Mongolian god of war, Bekse or Bekshi. And one thing I've always loved about God of War and the 2018 reboot but sequel is you see the different iterations of the same god in different cultures. So like, in Ragnarok, we got to meet the Norse god of war while playing as the original Greek god of war who killed the previous Greek god of war. And now we're going to fight a Mongolian god of war, which kind of rules. And I love seeing that like adaptation and how different cultures have different perspectives on how they portray these different things, which is why it's so exciting to see it in a fantasy setting.
Yeah. And again, to the weird juxtaposition of incredibly realistic visuals with also incredibly fantastic, unrealistic visuals, like the fact that you've got, again, not a talking sword, but a sword with talking ribbons on it and a talking cube, and you're fighting a 12-foot tall war god and doing double jumps. There are things that like we should not being like, well, this isn't very realistic. No kidding. It's about mythology. Like have you read any mythology? It's completely bonkers. And I love that they're managing to juggle that sense of groundedness, but also double jumps and gelatinous cubes. Like it's a really, really hard balancing act to strike. And I don't know, it's working for me here.
I might not remember it from Ragnarok, but I cannot wait for this game to show us how Faye and Kratos met, because what a meet cute that must have been.
I'm sure there was some fists thrown. I love that the cube's name is just Frank, and we've got played by Deborah Ann Woll, who also played Karen in Punisher, who was in Daredevil and Punisher, and Frank
hangs out with a lot of Franks. Yeah,
there's a lot of Franks. So I'm wondering I can't wait for the internet to do some cuts of these conversations together.
Also, just her like acrobaticness, her different like style of combat. Like you can very much see the DNA of God of War 2018 in this game, but I just love how much like more acrobatic she is compared to Kratos. And that's the thing I was worried about, is that it would feel too similar to what we've seen from God of War before. And I can tell this is in that realm. Like I understand how this plays, but that freeformness to how she moves, also her like co-op partner here is a gelatinous cube that she can bounce enemies off of for like air juggling potential. It's so cool.
I'm really looking forward to some puzzles, some interesting platforming choices, because if you've got a talking ribbons that can go and grapple things, and a gelatinous cube you can bounce on, and also you can double jump. I feel like that opens up a huge breadth of possibilities in terms of just getting around this world once you get past this burning hellhole here. But like I really hope they don't just tell me the puzzle solutions. Like I hope that they took the feedback there, and that these weird talking objects don't just blurt out the answers left and right like Atreus did.
I love the knocking the spirits out of like the soul out of enemies and using that to combo into them before it explodes. Like that's so cool. There's a lot of questions we're going to have over the next year, I'd say at least, of development as they start to drip feed more information. Like, what did they mean by that sword is more than you think it is? Like,
Well, I remember when they were talking about God of War 2018, just talking about how much work went into getting that axe to feel right,
Mhm.
getting that that recoil or whatever,
Yeah.
grabbing, recalling it, and they clearly watched the Thor movies a bit and took some notes about how that works. And like I love that the knocking the soul out of the body is like a full on, that's like a Doctor Strange move right
Yeah.
there. Like it's cool. And
Is it coming next year? You think? You think it's a 2027 release?
I hope so. I think we've got a pretty good idea of what 2026 is going to look like now after this state of play with so many games, which I'm sure we'll talk about in a moment. But 2027 is still pretty open for a lot of stuff.
It gives me pause because it just says in development. I was like, you showed me the first 20 minutes of the game. Give it to me now, please.
They got to make the next 18 hours.
Yeah, there you
there's
go.
a lot more there. But no, it clearly is really far along. We were talking about, you were like, maybe it's really far along. Maybe it's going to come out this fall. And look at how long the tail on Wolverine was from that initial CG reveal to finally seeing proper gameplay in action. We're going to talk about Wolverine in a second. But yeah, I feel like I think they're being cautious and not saying a year quite yet because it's tricky to make a game that looks like this or any game really, but especially a game like this. This is gorgeous. And yeah, I'm hoping we're playing this next fall, but I wouldn't be surprised if we got to wait a little bit longer. But it is clearly a video game. This at no point am I like, I don't know, it kind of looks like CG. It's like, no
bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. This is, I mean, that guy's kind of bull-like, but yeah.
This is exciting. I thought I was done with the God of War saga. Just like, all right, I think I'm ready to move on into let Sony Santa Monica do something different. But this very clearly is something different. I'm very excited for it.
Yeah, like I said, they picked the right avenue to go for evolving this franchise.
And anybody who's not feeling this in particular, like bear in mind, there is also a trilogy of God of War remakes in development, as well as an Amazon Prime show. So, take that for what it's
Plenty
worth.
of Kratos to come.
Yeah. And then I kind of hope we get some more little Sons of Sparta style things in the middle there. We've been talking a lot about that, about how like Sony's got a bunch of legacy IP. It's cool to get these big, huge quadruple A flagship releases, but it's kind of nice to also get stuff in between, like little things to be like, hey, yeah, we know the lights are still on. So
something to tide you over.
Yeah. Look at that logo. Look at how shiny that is. That's so pretty. I'm into it. Yeah, I'm very excited about this. And again, if this grabbed you, be sure to stick around to the end of this live show because we have an interview queued up. Check out. So, IGN Summer of Gaming is only just getting started. Be sure to join us this Friday for Summer Games Fest, plus pre and post show coverage. And then this weekend, it's going to be IGN Live, our very own 2-day in-person event. If you can make it to downtown LA, we would love it if you come and join us. You can grab a ticket at ign.com/live. And if you can't be here in person, rest assured we're going to be streaming the whole thing. We need to take a quick break, but when we return, we're going to talk about Wolverine. Yeah, bub.
IGN Summer of Gaming is presented by Amazon Luna. Here to play.
Do you want to be the very best like no one ever was? Streamline your journey to becoming a master trainer with Planet Pokemon. Choose your Pokemon, filtering by type, stats, or game availability. Then use the full team builder to assemble an unbeatable lineup. Plan out the optimal set of moves, items, and abilities. Plan your dream team today at planetpokemon.com.
Catch up on all your favorite shows with up-to-the-minute gaming and entertainment news with Geek Media Podcasts.
Welcome to a very special episode of IGN Game Scoop.
Game Scoop has you covered for all things gaming and the latest game releases. Tune into Podcast Beyond for the biggest PlayStation news.
Man, this is a cool looking trailer.
Everything Xbox on Podcast Unlocked.
This is Steve Downs, the voice of Master Chief.
Catch up with your Super Nintendos on Nintendo Voice Chat.
Let the kids love what we love.
And get all the latest console news and rumors with Next Gen Console Watch.
Now Xbox and Phil Spencer are even saying that a mid-gen refresh isn't even necessary.
The Cinefix Top 100 podcast picks a movie every week to celebrate and debate.
It's kind of every movie's grandpa.
Geek Media Podcasts, the best podcasts from around the world.
IGN Playlist is the best way to track your game collection. Now you can even import your entire Steam library to Playlist, making it easier than ever to review games, show off your collection to the world, and finally chip away at that massive backlog you keep meaning to get to. IGN Playlist, check it out.
Can't find that final collectible you're missing? IGN guides are trusted by millions, easy to use, and best of all, free.
IGN has the very best, most complete, and accurate guides for Shadow of the Erdtree, Baldur's Gate 3, Tears of the Kingdom, and so much more.
It's good, right?
Every guide is tested and verified for you by experts. Just search for IGN when you search for guides.
And welcome back. We are breaking down some of the big reveals from Sony's latest State of Play. And remember, if something you were hoping to see didn't make an appearance, there is still a chance it's going to pop up during Summer Game Fest. So be sure to tune into that this Friday, June 5th, live on IGN. The pre-show kicks off at 1:30 p.m. Pacific. But now we need to talk about Wolverine, because I always want to talk about Wolverine.
Yes.
But I have a really good excuse to talk about Wolverine today, and that's that we got a huge, big chunk of gameplay. What do we think?
Looks bloody as hell. It looks great.
Yes, as gory as I hoped we'd get with him. Oh my goodness, this was a good gameplay demo. This was such a good little teaser of the things we get to expect. We got to see some finishers, we got to see some abilities, we saw his rage, we saw the healing, we saw the death
the fail state.
Yeah, we saw so much in this trailer. I'm very sold and ready for it. I mean, we were already sold beforehand, but this put the final nail in the coffin for making sure I'm there day one for this one.
I mean, I think one thing that always strikes me about the Insomniac Marvel games, now that we can say this plural, is how they kind of effortlessly show off their cameos in a way that doesn't feel like, look we got another person in here. It feels very natural. It feels like, yeah, this is just the world that they live in. And in this issue, Wolverine stumbles into an encounter and Jean Grey happens to be there. And I really appreciate that effortlessness, but also it just looks fun as hell to play Wolverine and throw people through objects. Everything destroys itself very nicely. I love right here, you see some of the blood kind of pool into the water and start to trail a little bit.
Now, don't get too excited, because we know, the pre-release footage of puddles and Insomniac games, this could be a whole other puddle gate.
Bloodgate's back, baby.
We got to look at, there's
Leech.
Yeah. And there's a couple, I think, was that maybe Callisto in the back of the truck?
I wouldn't be surprised. Callisto is known for protecting the mutants, especially the ones that, like the Morlocks.
I dig it because they said that this is a version of this universe where mutants are out there, but they're also in hiding, which is a nice way of kind of hand-waving the fact that there's not a bunch of mutants hanging around in Spider-Man. Assuming these are, I think they're in the same universe, but I feel like they're not overemphasizing that, which is healthy and good.
Wolverine's probably not going to New York or whatever, but it reminds me a lot of at least that opening shot where we see him on top of a warehouse overlooking and kind of planning out the attack route. It reminded me a lot of The Last of Us Part 2 in terms of how The Last of Us handled it, planning out the attack route. It's handled its improvisational combat where it's you go in, I'm going to try and be stealthy. And then when things inevitably go awry, you go, all right, guns blazing. And I really think that's a smart approach because, when I think of Wolverine, I do think of a predator who is on the prowl trying to just, murder quickly and efficiently. And, inevitably things are going to go wrong. And that's when he starts pushing people through forklifts and stuff like that.
I like that we were watching that and you were like, oh, he's going to do the Spider-Man thing. He's going to swing under the legs and he just kills him with a forklift. So it's a nice,
It's a nice zag.
Good environmental skill there. I'm into that. Here we're getting a look at what I'm guessing is the Berserker Rage. There's a very, very limited UI in this game, which I'm very into. We did get kind of a look at the different abilities down there. I'm interested to see how they come to play. Yeah,
it'll be interesting to see just how many of those skills kind of play out throughout the game. How much customization or upgrades you get for those. How they handle those, how they dole those out. Are we getting experience points on popping enemies like Spider-Man, or is it kind of just as time goes by, you add more things, which is kind of weird.
Unlockables, upgrades.
Yeah, I love the team ups that we got. We got to see a lot of little combo attacks with Jean Grey. Obviously, they said there's going to be other Marvel friends that are going to be showing up. So who knows what that's going to look like. Maybe we'll see a little Cyclops action. I doubt we'll see
So-
like a Hulk for a fastball special though.
Yeah. Well, this is what I'm interested in because we're so used to certain things being taken for granted in the Marvel
Mhm.
universe, but Insomniac demonstrated pretty readily in Spider-Man 2, especially that like what you take for granted is not necessarily true. Like we're like, oh yeah, Venom is Eddie Brock, right? And it's like, no, I don't know.
There's
you know?
zag. There's always an
And-
interesting twist.
Yeah, there's the bit where this, Leech goes, are you a superhero? And he goes, nah, Bob, I'm Wolverine or whatever. And it's like, is he an X-Man at this point? Like, is that like we're taking that for granted, but like, is this his early days? And again, have they completely shuffled the timeline around? They've got carte blanche to do that. They are able to, take some liberties and do some interesting stuff. And it's Wolverine's been reinterpreted plenty of times over already. So it's I'm excited about that. Again, Jean Grey shows up. The obvious question is where's Cyclops, but
He's taking care of the kids.
maybe he's not in the picture yet. I don't know.
And it seems like they have a history already because he's already calling her Red, right?
Mm-hmm. We get the Final Destination, the Final Destination kill, which is something that's traumatized everybody who watched that movie as a.
That is as good a segue as anything. Wolverine looks sick. I'm excited to talk more about it for the rest of the year. But I also want to talk about one of the other big surprises, which was Until Dawn 2, which was very Final Destination coded. I wasn't expecting this.
Me neither, especially and Firesprite is doing this one, which is it's a change from the previous developers.
So yeah,
correct?
historically, Until Dawn was under Supermassive, who've since kind of spun off and done the Dark Pictures anthology, which is very much an Until Dawn-like. This is a studio that Sony acquired, I think, in 2021, who's mostly done support stuff. They worked on The Playroom, they worked on Horizon Call of the Mountain, but as far as having any like really big recognizable names under their belt, not so much. But this definitely looks promising. It looks like you got some Far Cry 3 in my Until Dawn, and I'm super here for it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big sucker for found footage. It's one of my favorite like horror genres. Granted, this isn't 100% found footage, but it's very much people who don't belong in a place doing, oh, let's see if there's ghosts here and something bad, and that's like my favorite setup for a horror movie because it's like, oh, I can't wait to watch all these people get brutally murdered or survive. As the end of the trailer shows, they can either all live or they can all die. But one thing that's always fun in these, Until Dawn games is seeing like the celebrity talent that's at play. And if my eyes are not mistaking me, it looks like we have the return of Peter Stormare, who is like our kind of overarching narrator, our director, if you will. It looks like we have the guy from Stranger Things, the lifeguard, if I'm not mistaken, from like season 2 or 3. And then Neil Newman, who is Asterion himself from Baldur's Gate 3. So pretty interesting cast. And it looks like a lot of people are going to die.
Yeah. and do some rowdy teenager shenanigans on this island. Yeah. For the first, I don't know, good chunk of this trailer, it didn't put the supernatural or the whatever the horror elements front and center. And I was like, is this some kind of like social, data is like a really AAA dating game on an island? I don't know what's going on here. And then they started cutting people in half and stuff. I'm like, okay, that checks out. That makes sense. I mean, we got an Until Dawn movie. Remember that?
Yeah. I mean, maybe we'll get a sequel.
Yeah. I'm happy to see Sony carting out an IP that people like.
It's a great time, and hopefully, one thing I'm curious about is whether I would assume that they have learned from the things that Supermassive has done since the original Until Dawn, because as each subsequent release has kind of, with the Dark Pictures anthology, they started to strip away a lot of the elements that didn't necessarily work in Until Dawn. I'm talking about like, don't move your DualSense controller, and then it's like you accidentally nudge it, and then one of the characters you've been trying to keep alive is just brutally murdered because you had to get up and because your microwave sounded off or something like that. Like getting rid of the things that are detrimental to it and giving you more ownership over telling the story you want to. And hopefully they add the like co-op feature that was added in a lot of the subsequent games after the fact, where part of the fun is to just play these games with a friend and with a significant other and just enjoy a horror movie like experience together.
My biggest hang up with games like this is that they are too long, and I don't mean that they should have less content in them. I mean that
the pacing,
sitting down with your friends to watch a bad horror movie, that's a thing that takes 3 hours tops. And that is the reason that you can rewatch an old movie a bunch of times. People replay games obviously all the time, and these games are meant to be replayed so you get different outcomes. But I would be so much more inclined to replay this over and over and see all the different outcomes if it was a 3-hour experience.
Mhm.
And we've seen plenty of games that are 3-hour experiences that people are into that aren't necessarily all about